Welcome to Lobster Magnets Review, the channel, the review. I am so excited here because, I'm here with my good old buddy Zavule and Gorogregoro, and we are here to talk about the whatchamacallit, Promised Neverland, this new manga series. It's been not even a year yet, but I found it. I'm really pleased. I've gotten these two on the Promised Neverland hype train, so we can be all like, we're the cool guys who saw this before it becomes like the next big thing, which I think it's got a very, very, very good chance of becoming. So we're talking about manga chapter 40. So guys, what do you think of this chapter?
I have to admit, I'm really, really happy about it.
That is really good.
I've been happy with the entire series, mostly just because it is such a break from the usual, and then everyone gets superpowers, and I get really bored of it. Or, oh no, it's an otaku trapped in a magical new world that fulfills every fantasy, and he's somehow really, really whiny about it. Or becomes Super King Big Nuts, even though he's kind of just sucks and is a terrible person.
Yeah, there's a lot of that where, like, there's this really, I wanted to talk about this for a while, and eventually I might make a video on it. There's this really interesting trend where, like, there are a lot of, light novels that are becoming popular that, like, are basically, it's like, oh, I don't want to draw a manga. Manga's too hard. I'll just write this limited story, and then I'll have manga drawings in it, and I'm basically going to absorb all these fucking anime tropes and deposit them in this light novel. And they've become, like, sort of this treasure trove of adaptation. And so every season has, like, 4 or 5 bajillion light novel things. They all kind of have, like, similar themes where it's like, oh, I'm Mr. Average McAveragton. I'm going to go into a magical world, or I'm going to go into a video game, or I'm going to go into whatever, or I'm going to be in this society where everyone has magical superpowers, and there's going to be this harem, and then there's going to be this kind of, like, seedy wish fulfillment aspect to it where you just kind of feel creepy and emotionally stunted because basically it's, an adolescent power fantasy filled with, like, a harem about this guy who's, like, honestly not that interesting, but who's kind of meant to be, like, an audience surrogate, right?
Yeah.
But Promised Neverland is pretty much the antithesis of all of that. And, it really does feel like the kind of like, how we even, like, had all those, like, teen dystopia novels that have, like, become a huge thing, that have become, like, 3-part movie franchises.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like that done right.
Actually, you know what it always felt like to me? It feels like something that the main characters from Bakuman would write.
Yeah.
I think I was making a comparison to that, like, a long time ago when I was first reading this. I really thought this was actually made by, like, the Bakuman guys, or, like, it was, like, very much inspired by, the Death Note Bakuman duo. But unfortunately, like, they're off doing something way worse right now, like, called Platinum Angel.
It's hilarious. Let me just allow me this tangent, then we'll get back onto the chapter.
All right.
The Bakuman writer manga duo, they have this new manga called the Platinum End, and it had a decent first chapter. I was kind of, like, psyched on it, but then, oh my god, I'm still following it, but it's like a slog. So maybe I might, like, twist Greg's arm to read it just so we can. I fucking hate it so much, which pisses me off. Because, like, I didn't really like the duo, but so basically the concept is this. There's this little kid, and he wants to commit suicide. He tries to commit suicide. Then he's saved by an angel. And then it turns out that, whatchamacallit?
Hitler.
What'd you say?
He's Hitler.
No, that would be fucking interesting. That would be, like something compelling, but nothing fucking compelling happens in this fucking manga. No.
So this is, like, a manga retelling of, like, what? It's a Wonderful Life?
Almost, in a way. Basically, like, so the angel saves him. She gives him superpowers where he can, like, fly with his ring, and he can shoot this red arrow. He has 2 arrows. He can shoot someone that makes them love him, or he can use a white arrow that kills people. And basically, he gets put into this death game where, like, the current god of the universe is about to, like, fade away, and he wants to choose a successor. So he's, like, had all of his angels go out and pick out god candidates, and there's, like, 10 or 13 of them, and they're all going to, like, compete in a super death match to see who gets to be the new god.
That sounds terrible.
You know, it started off okay, but then it like becomes this weird, stupid Sentai thing where like there's this villain who's like kind of light but just boring and uninteresting, and he gets like this like Power Ranger armor that he steals from a movie studio, and he becomes like a evil anti-super villain who goes around killing people, and it's like first of all, this isn't a good battle manga setup. Ooh, I shoot you with an arrow and you're dead is not a compelling thing. You're not coming up with anything interesting about making people, fall in love with you and doing evil, devious things with that. And it looks kind of cool, but it's just really infantile and dumb. And the main character is just like a sad sack. He's just like, oh, I'm depressed. And you're like the most boring, inactive protagonist I've ever seen in a
manga. I have a terrible, terrible idea for this. I mean, he's sad and depressed. And he should just shoot himself with his own, like, love arrow.
So he could love himself.
Exactly.
Problem solved.
Just, like, jam it in your leg. You're like, oh my god, this is the best antidepressant ever. I feel fine now. Okay, I gotta go become super god.
I think there's, like, some temporary power with the love arrow, though.
The point is that it's like...
fine. You, like, do it every morning, just like you're taking some goddamn Zoloft. Jesus.
Well, it lasts like 33. Well, he could just reapply it to himself. It's dumb. It's not a good power system. And then they have like a big scene where they like fly around dueling with arrows. I'm like, this is not how the series should be playing out. Oh my god. There's like even a chapter out now and I haven't read it. And like I'm always bored, so I'm always reading manga. So that says something that I'm like, kind of like dragging my way through this in like some sort of appreciation for like the artist's previous work. So I don't know what the fuck happened.
Stop. You don't have to read things you hate.
God damn it, Scott.
What?
I need something to fill the void of my, disappointment in my existence. And that hole is manga.
You know what? Okay, I'll tell you what. Go find, and it probably shouldn't be that hard. Just go find, like, digital downloads of, like, Scalped or something.
Of what?
Oh, the...
old Vertigo comics that are probably better than, like, that. It's at least better than that.
Yeah, it probably is. It probably is.
Guys, I think we've diverged from the point a little bit.
Yeah, we really have.
Let's bring it back to this chapter. So basically, we start off with that awesome page of, the hounds that are like, stalking the kids. So it's really fun that the demons are closing in. That we've not actually seen any like direct confrontation between the demons and the kids, and it feels like we're getting something very soon of that possibly.
I have to say, this is in contrast to a lot of other manga where there is just has to be someone punching something at almost any point in the manga. This is a really, really nice transition away from that where...
It's refreshing.
Yeah, it really is, where a lot of the chapters are literally just build up, and there's usually a nice payoff at the end of that, but it's really nice that a lot of the chapters are just suspense and actually like working towards something that it feels like the author actually took the time to put in and plan out something that actually is going to have some kind of impact as opposed to just the next fight of the week, like that asshole with the goddamn cone for a head.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Oda. Usually he does such great work, but I'm still angry about that.
The interesting thing is that, like, the world is so open, and we're getting it filled in a little bit. Like, we're seeing that the world is, like, fucking more science fiction-y than we originally thought. But obviously, there's nothing, to contradict anything. So, the universe that we're finally seeing is, like, can be anything. And so far, I've been enjoying this little saga, the kids versus the plant.
Oh, by the way, Scott, I asked Isaac this question in one of the earlier videos, but what do you think? Like, how fantastical or sci-fi do you think this series should go? Because Isaac, and I believe you feel the same way, the kids shouldn't have superpowers. They shouldn't have, like, fantastical abilities. But, like, what about the world around them? What do you feel about that?
I'm interested to see if this is more sci-fi or like your kind of weird anime brand of Magitech, where everything is still occult themed, but they have like the big, ridiculous, sciencey looking power generators and lab equipment and shit like that. Which I would actually be really okay with. Like obviously, I'm gonna be kind of pissed if I find out that this is like all on an alien planet or something, and this is like the remnants of a colony, and then we like pan out and it turns out to be a goddamn space opera. I will be really pissed about that.
But like, let's assume though it's like similar to Trigun, where like, not so much a space opera, but like, you know, all the humans originally were on this like colony ship, and the colony ship breaks down and goes on this weird planet with the demons and whatnot, and that's how like it gets sci-fi. Would you be offended if it like went in that some kind of that direction?
I would be a little disappointed, but not nearly as offended as I would be as if they suddenly have superpowers. I would just be a little sad because I really do like the kind of weird occult thing they've got going so far.
You like where the series is going right now, right? With
yeah, I do. Okay, so I think my personal hope for the series is it kind of treks down into this weird Lovecraftian place where I would even be okay with if rather than this being like an alien planet or something, I would be really okay if this was some sort of extra dimensional entity. So some kind of cosmic horror, a knowable being, that kind of thing. I'd be happier with that than I would some kind of colony planet that's fallen in the hands of an evil alien empire or some shit like that.
And like taking refuge in Earth. Like you should be like taking place in Earth specifically, you think?
I think I'd be happier with like a Half-Life 2 setup.
Okay.
There you go. Where it's like,
yeah, I could see that. Where like interdimensional beings have come in and fundamentally changed the Earth's ecology, and the demons are like the Combine, right?
Pretty much, where they are some sort of horrible race of things beyond human understanding, which would also help shore up the "why do you keep eating human brains" thing.
I got a theory about that.
Okay, what is it?
Okay,
all right,
so
I'm curious too.
This chapter, like, made it. I thought it was really interesting where they said that like only we can be allowed to eat, those children. And so here's my grand theory. We've seen like many different forms of the demons. We've seen like, the grunt workers. We've seen the like, the hierarchs who sit around a table being fancy pants.
Shit! I think I know what you're gonna say.
I kind of want them with a top hat now.
So we've seen the top hat demons. We've seen the giraffe demons. We've seen the whatchamacallit,
the monocle demons.
Yeah, we've seen the dog demons just this chapter, which were pretty badass. And like one thing I always find interesting in many manga is like when they introduce like a certain enemy type, but they have like kind of like a different themes of them. So like neither of you read Toriko, but they had like these what were they called? They had these like weird bird monsters. And they had like many different varieties of the bird monsters, and that became like a recurring design theme and something that wound up being integral to the Toriko mythology.
I remember people were comparing Toriko to Dragon Ball Z. Remember that? Like how that panned out.
Yeah. Well, Toriko was great at moments, at times. Well, anyway, and like My Hero Academia, you've got the no moves. You remember the brain monster, the muscle brain monster?
For which thing?
For My Hero Academia, the first season.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So that is like a thing where it's like, that's not such a character, but it's like a, kind of like this like bio or, artificial created thing that's like able to house different abilities, and you can make them how you want. And it's like a thief, like, a generic bad guy. And so we're seeing that kind of like design aesthetic, with the demons. So my theory is that like, depending on the level of brain that a demon eats, determines its role within the demon society, and that by eating the children, eating their brains, and the reason why cultivating them is so important is it evolves the organism that eats the brain.
I could kind of see that.
That actually sounds pretty cool.
So
they gain more, they keep their level of sentience or gain more sentience by eating children's brains and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And they, the smarter the kid is, the higher the score, the higher you get on the echelon. So, the giraffe demons and the hound demons, maybe they don't get to eat kids, and that's what keeps them stupid. But if they did get to eat the kids, they would, become more sentient and more capable. And wow. The demon society at the top is, a handful of people that, eat the children's brains to remain sentient and have higher brain functions. And then, the lower stratas within their society and bioecology or whatever, they mold and control ones that aren't as smart, that don't get to eat the good stuff. Now, the question is if, the plant monster got to eat the kids, would that make the plant monster smart? Is that why only we can eat it?
I feel like that would just
I just think that, yeah.
I feel like that would just be a waste, though. I'm not sure you would magically have, a super intelligent plant. I feel like you would just end up with, a bunch of really pissed off demons because you just fed your, super expensive caviar to the goddamn garden.
Well, I think, in that point, you're probably right, Scott, in that, it feels like the kids being eaten by the plants and then the plants getting smart would be, a stupid step. It would basically, because this, despite the fantastical elements, this manga is really grounded. Everything feels plausible. And even the kids beating the plant, it's something reasonable. They use their deductive reasoning. They got this thing that's been foreshadowed before that gives them clues, and they climb out of it. They don't
building up the hype of William Minerva.
Oh yeah, William Minerva. God. Well, here's a question to you, Scott. If you could choose, right now, to be introduced to either someone like Vegapunk or William Minerva, who would you pick?
Vegapunk.
Really?
I would be interested in seeing him because he's got more stuff built up around him.
I can give you that.
He's a more developed character. I'd like to see more stuff built up around William Minerva first, and I'd really like to make sure that is most definitely some sort of artist rendition as opposed to what he actually looks like. Because I've always kind of imagined a manga equivalent of Sean Connery sitting off somewhere in a study, heading up a resistance and just handing notes to people and I see. Yes, the resistance is progressing nicely. Hand over this children's book to be donated. Or even better, if it wasn't an actual person, if it was just a resistance organization or something.
That'd be interesting as just one single person. Although I had one theory that Greg hates, that maybe it'll be a good demon that we'll see vegan demons.
Oh my god.
I don't. I wouldn't like that much at all.
According to your theory, they would all be dumb as dirt.
Yeah. All right, so that runs against my theory. But all I know is that I think eventually we're gonna see a good demon. I don't know. Either of you ever see fucking Tokyo Ghoul?
No, I haven't seen Tokyo Ghoul.
Wait. Okay. So I have a dumb question.
Yeah.
Would this good demon have eaten one baby or something, or would they have
Yeah, how would they get nutrients?
The Gump of demons because they ate a really dumb child and kind of feel bad about it. What exactly are we looking at here, according to your theory?
Okay, so let's assume my theory is canon. The reason why I brought up is Tokyo Ghoul is basically let's combine zombies with the mystique of vampires, and that's why it's so popular. Basically, ghouls are zombies, but they're because they eat people, but they act like vampires. They have all their full intelligence. They're not a disease. So there are good ghouls who don't eat live people, and they just eat corpses that they get from the morgue that they steal. or like from accidents. And those are the good ghouls. So maybe there's like a good demon, and he eats like the fingers of children, or he eats children who are already dead in some sort of ethical way, or maybe there's like clones of children that he eats that don't have brains.
So maybe he'll eat like.
Isn't like the brain the important part according to your theory?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he eats like children who like accidentally fell down the stairs.
Maybe he eats animal brains.
Or maybe you just need to eat one children to become like fully sentient. So he ate a child a long time ago, and he feels really, really bad about it. Maybe that's a possibility.
All right, I'll take that, I guess. All right, now here's another dumb question. That rose they keep jamming into the child, do you think that's symbolic, or do you think that actually has a purpose?
I am so fucking curious about that. Like, I can't tell if it's like a thematic thing or if it's actually like incense that makes them taste better.
Because I'm going to be a little irritated if it's like just a thematic thing, because I just keep watching this and going like, all right, there better be something cool with that. Otherwise, I'm going to see fan art all over the place of these fucking demons wearing the tuxedo mask get up.
I'm surprised you're that curious about it. I think just like the visual of it is like cool enough alone as it is.
I mean, it is cool. I just want to know, because most everything else in the series has had some kind of actual practical reason why it's happening.
Yeah, I could see that.
So I want to know, like, is this actual practical thing? Is there a reason? Maybe they just like, maybe they're like stabbing a child to death with the flower, and then they eat the flower in some sort of weird.
Maybe the flower sucks up their brain, and then they eat the flower
while jamming it in the chest.
Yeah.
Like, are they eating their soul? Is this part of that weird, like, Lovecraftian
occult thing that you're
kind of thing that I'm really pushing for? It's like jam a rose into their heart and it like rips their soul out, and they just kind of like munch on the flower or something and eat their soul.
Well, that brings up an interesting question, because like, as of right now, there's nothing to like, go against your occult theory about it, that like it could be like an evil occult thing, but it seems like it's shifting more towards like a sci-fi direction. Like, we've got that badass pen that has like hollow coordinates and GPS, and I was looking at some spoilers for the chapter that should be out now, because we're outside of the escape arc, and Promised Neverland still ranks below some other series, doesn't quite get as translated as quickly as I'd like, that like it has other functions and more sci-fi shit.
Well, again, I'm willing to have a little bit of leeway. I would like the end result to be, like, I guess, kind of like the Half-Life 2 Combine, and more weird, unknowable bullshit than some kind of space opera or even hard sci-fi.
Mm. So yeah, that'd be a good mix. Because, like, yeah, the Half-Life 2 had, like, a really good design aesthetic, but it also was sort of unknowable. They're, like, these gray worms. We don't no idea what their purpose is and what their larger role in the interstellar thing is. We just know that they, like, occupy us and convert us, and it's terrifying, and they're basically Space Hitler.
Oh.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is kind of a little bit off this topic, but it's like, it still involves this chapter. But what do you guys think of the way they integrated the Minerva book illustrations with the rest of the story?
I'm kind of hoping. I'm one thing I'm a little afraid of is like I'm afraid that the like Minerva will actually look like that guy from the thing. Because
really?
I hate that design.
I'm not all that afraid that that's gonna happen, but I would be pissed if it did. This is why I keep assuming it's
that
like...
character represents the hero from the book, though. That not Minerva himself. I imagine.
No,
right.
It'd be really, really easy to for a really lazy low-level mangaka to just reuse that design and tweak it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, this has been good enough that I don't have a ton of worry about that. Like, it just looks like something that you would design for a child. Christ, this stuff is designed for children. That is the entire point. But I'm gonna be really pissed if he shows up dressed like that.
Do you think we might get more? Do you think we might get more sequences like that, like with more creatures that the kids encounter?
they're
Yeah.
happy. Like they're stuck in this universe, and you've set it up that like there are these stories, and that's like a great way to like educate us about this universe, and because it's been established, it's a great tool, and it won't feel like it's an ass pull because it's been properly set up.
Or maybe
Yeah.
they should
Yeah.
read up on all the books prior, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I know that from that book," instead of
I
like
think they already
going through
did.
like
That was-
sequential flashbacks of, or no, not flashbacks, but of like, you know, showing like what happens in each story, like panel by
No,
panel.
we don't need that. We don't need. We've established that she read all the books. She's got this adventure novel. Whenever she encounters whatever the next monstrosity they encounter in, maybe they'll be a little bit more careful, and maybe they can foreshadow. Oh, these are like you remember in Hunter x Hunter the 7 calamities or whatever the fuck they were called.
Yes.
So they can foreshadow. These are the 7 predators of the jungle that we need to worry about. They're the kings.
Okay.
Just a big thing, and that'll be good enough, and then we can go on from there.
Yeah. I would also be interested to see a little bit of ambiguity where some of the things literally are just pulled from like whole cloth, where it's not real, it's just part of the story. But
it's not
some of
clear.
it-
It's not clear how helpful it is.
yeah, that would be interesting. And it's
Yeah,
kind of
'cause-
up to the children to figure out, because you have to disguise it to get it past the I assume it's somewhere there has to be a demon who is basically the equivalent of like the like fucking censorship board or something, and just sits around reading children's books like, nope, they're not going to be reading that. So you have to like put something in there to kind of throw them off, as opposed to just sitting on like, I'm pretty sure this is a description of everything we have outside the walls. We probably shouldn't give this to children.
That'd be kind of cool to see a little
like
bit of that.
maybe there's like a recurring element that shows up every time it is something that exists that the children have to watch for, as opposed to just like, here's a guide to literally everything you will ever need to escape this. Make them think a little bit of it, because that really is the main pull of this series, the fact that it's all based on the ability of the children to reason through what's happening, as opposed to shoot lasers at it or something.
Yeah, or like,
Yeah.
God, one of my biggest fears is that like, the kids are in like backed in a corner by a demon or some other danger, and then Norman comes in with like a laser sword. It's like on one level, like, that's like such an easy way to get a big out of people and like, get the fan base to go, oh! But it feels like, in that
and just the three of us are just gonna be like, oh god.
Oh,
The
it's all
worst
down
chapter
here.
of
It's all downhill.
Promised
from here.
Neverland
Oh,
came
shit.
out.
Yeah, that's like sort of the jumping the shark point, and then we would like, create a video retrospective like, yep, it's all went down from here.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that like, I have this theory that like the really, really great storytellers give audiences what they need, not what they want. Like, George R.R. Martin, like, there's this great video where, like, Game of Thrones fans wish fulfillment, and they have, like, Daenerys gives, Tyrion a dragon, and then they go on the wall, and they shoot everyone with, like, pistols filled with fire water, and Arya's, teacher comes back from the dead, and he gives her a pistol filled with fire water, and they just shoot all the bad guys. And like,
God.
And it's like all these sort of things that, like, everyone would love that. Like Tyrion, Jon Snow, Daenerys are all Targaryens or part Targaryen. They all ride in their dragons and they shoot like the fucking, the White Walkers, the others with flames, and everyone's happy. But, George R.R. Martin knows better than to give people that wish fulfillment. He always takes that, gives them what they need. And what we need is not to have Norman come back with a laser sword.
I do
He
think
needs
it'd
to have,
be
like,
great.
a pistol full of fire water.
I do think it'd be great if Norman came back as someone who's hunting the children down, though.
That is one thing I would like go ape shit. I would love it if Norman turns evil and he's like brainwashed and he becomes like that would be like a great way to establish like a more rival bitter villain. Like Norman comes back and they like made him like a commander and he's like leading the demon. He's like this self-hating human who's like working for the demons and been brainwashed by them.
Okay,
That was so sick.
Terrifying. All right, so these demons are basically, according to your theory anyway, it's mindless. That's why you have the weird giraffes and all that shit.
Yeah,
and then they
except for the higher one.
They eat the child's brain or soul or whatever you want to call it. Would be really cool is if, along with that intelligence, they also gained some degree of the memories.
Yeah,
and so
personality
Norman can come back as a demon. That would be cool.
Amazing.
Oh my god, that would be so sick.
Shit. I would like lose my shit over if they do that. That would be like the great way to like create like a antagonist, a direct like all-time antagonist. Like that would basically give this series its own version of.
You guys are breaking up.
You're breaking up. I can see you guys just fine.
There we go. All right.
But yeah, that's actually a brilliant idea. I would lose my shit if like there was a Norman demon and he's like the best commander and he like God. Greg, you remember the Chimera Ant arc where like the Chimera Ants would like kind of remember?
Yes. That's what I really loved about the Chimeras too. They like retain some of the memories of like the people that they fed off of or something, or that they mutated to, whatever.
Yeah, and Norman could be obsessed with catching his old friends because, hey, new friends!
Yeah, he just has this impulsion, this obsession that he wants them, but he can't really explain why, and there's these vestigial memories about like why Emma's so special to him. And yeah, that'd be fucking amazing.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Wow.
All right, hold on. I gotta plug my laptop in.
Okay.
Give me a sec here.
So, but like, every shonen manga needs a mascot. So, do you think that monkey is going to be like the fucking mascot?
The monkey?
Yeah.
The monkey on the William Minerva books?
Yeah.
Oh, isn't it an owl, actually?
No, well, there's the William Minerva owl, and then there's like the monkey with like
the sidekick to the character in the children's story.
Yeah, Ugo's the little sidekick.
I thought like the little kids are just technically like mascot characters. They're just like they're so like tiny and like big eyed and adorable looking.
Although, if you go and look at it, if you ever go to like the Promised Neverland Reddit, there was like Phil, the little kid that they left behind.
Yeah,
he's kind of like a meme. They have a whole meme about Phil, about how Phil's the one you gotta watch. He's the super smart child. He's the dark one.
All right, I'm back.
Hey, Scott.
Welcome back.
So, we were talking about that lemur monkey thing.
What lemur monkey thing?
The lemur
from the
monkey
William Minerva books.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to be like?
Oh, it is a lemur. It's not a monkey. It's a lemur.
The lemur. Do you think that's going to be like the mascot? Because every shonen manga has to have a mascot.
Oh God, I hope not.
It's the kids.
You know what else would be horrible?
What?
If William Minerva wasn't actually like one of the good demons, he was just like
someone who wanted to eat the children himself,
or like steal children and like eat them himself, or like it's like a rival faction, like corporate espionage.
That would be so fuck.
Like I have my own child farm. Of course, I'm going to try and sabotage like the other child farm.
I would love that so much.
Wow,
that would be
the kids would be so screwed. Absolutely screwed.
Well, the interesting thing I kind of love about the Promised Neverland is it does a really good job of like having the cute sweetness balanced out with like the darker elements, and it never really goes too far into like grim dark or being too overly sweet, and it always has this really nice balance of like kind of having this oppressive environment, but the kids are always like still believe in each other, and they never really become like beaten and bruised or little edgelords.
Yeah, it's like Goonies, but like with dark, mysterious demons like following around and
Eating
sort
children.
of, yeah,
You know.
eating some of them. But they're still like a happy bunch of group of Goonies, you know.
Actually, you could say is that
Even though I didn't like Goonies at all, but I'm just
you
saying.
can almost say this is like the ultimate form of like Stranger Things, only as opposed to being like this like filleting love letter of Stephen King and '80s stuff. It's like an original thing within that template of like kids on an adventure.
But I fucking
Yeah.
love Stranger Things.
I haven't seen that yet. I gotta see
Yeah,
that.
it's worth it.
Well, some of the criticisms that like Stranger Things got was like that it's like this compiled piece of nostalgia bait because it has all the elements from Spielberg and Stephen King combined, but it is still its own original thing.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was really pleased with the chapter.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see where this goes, and I have enough faith in the author so far that I'm not really worried that they're gonna like ram face first into any of the usual pit traps that just kind of like lurk all over the goddamn place for shonen manga.
Yeah. I was worried when they broke out the prison and it was gonna like the series was gonna trail off a little bit, but so far it seems like it's still running strong. I give this chapter probably 9 out of 10.
I give it an 8. I think it was good, solid material. It's still continuing to move things forward. Obviously, I'm like waiting for the like big reveal. I want that info dump so badly. I want context of this universe. So that's when I'll probably like go through the roof. If they hit that payoff. But it was still a really good, well done chapter. So 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It was a good chapter. I really did enjoy it. I've been really enjoying this series, but kind of wish they'd picked a different character design for William Minerva's stand-in. I am a nitpicky little asshole, and I always will be.
I don't think that character represents William Minerva.
I don't care. I just hate his character design.
I'm gonna agree with Scott. I'm not a big fan of that design. It's like the ultimate like stereotypical adventure guy. Like
reminds me of like Sinbad from like Adventures of Sinbad or something.
No, it's a little worse than that. I think it's this combination of the goggles and the scarf. It just sort of like
Yeah.
It's the vision of like this like poor self-publishing author who's at like a trade show and he created his own like original character and he made like a children's book of that character and that's what that character would look like.
Like pick one of the two and I would have been happy. It's like, oh damn, those are some sweet goggles, or oh okay, he's wearing a scarf. That's kind of neat. Oh my god, what the hell is this?
You know what I thought? He kind of looked like
Why is
half
he
human,
look
half
like Evil
monkey.
Knievel? Why are you doing
No,
this?
he's not half monkey, half human.
Okay.
Where did that even come from?
I don't know. It looked like he sort of had monkey ears. Like, it's got like long, elongated monkey ears of some kind. I don't know. I'm looking at it right now.
The only thing they have that's like elongated ears is like fucking elf ears. Like manga and anime has this obsession with like elf ears. I feel like I'm seeing it a lot more. Like Aaron's Titan form has elf ears. Every now and then I see like elf ears.
It's always been a goddamn thing.
I don't know. It feels like more recently, but I guess you're right. Elf ears are like pretty pervasive, but he doesn't really seem monkey-like to me. But,
Well, maybe
it just
it's
seems like
the scarf and I don't know. Maybe it's because the lemur is with them. It looks like part of the. I don't know.
God damn it, Greg.
I can't come up with a logical reason why I thought that. I mean, yeah.
All right, so let's see here. Just to recap, so we've got All right, let's see here. Demons eat brains to become smarter, possibly
Not
retain,
confirmed.
hopefully retain memories, maybe corporate espionage, and Willie Minerva's half monkey. Okay, all right. We'll see which one of those pans out.
The character design, not William Minerva. The character in the book.
Yeah, well, we'll see which one of those wins out in the Tumblr theory crafting.
Besides that, is there anything else to say about this chapter?
No, I think this is a pretty good overview. All right, so I think that wraps it up. We had a very long, fun, lively discussion.
Yep.
Zavule, thank you for coming. Hopefully, we'll drag you in a few more of these in the future.
Thanks, Scott.
The more people you have, the more engaging and fun conversation, and the more tangents you can have. Hopefully, if you've stuck through to the end of this, you enjoy this video. We'll be back for whenever the next chapter comes out. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Give me personal validation, and yeah, if you comment, we'll probably comment back. And have a good one.
All right, thanks, guys. Just remember, validate the fuck out of that guy.
All right, bye.